Recording in progress.
All good.
All right, we got a couple of visitors. Anybody wanna address us or yell at us or belittle us or?
We'll do that now.
No, I didn't say.
Anita would be like.
Are you good right now?
Right now.
Well, jump in anytime you want. All righty. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Anita with Alliance to Preserve Finger Lakes.
All right.
Just get to know y'all and perhaps something and get your thoughts on. Finally, agree with them and where we want our two projects.
All righty.
Hi, my name's Ann Armstrong. I live in the town of Fleming. And I'm here as well in the same context as Anita. I'm a retiree of NYSEG with responsibility for a lot of the grants and economic development. Prior to my retirement, I managed all of the largest business key account customers for NYSEG and our unit.
Okay.
Now I know the one is fine.
Oh, that's pretty good. All right, we've got 3 minutes from last meeting. We want to take them all together, as you guys want to go through them separate.
What did you ask? I'm sorry.
Oh, we've got 3 sets of minutes.
Oh,
We got the regular meeting, the audit committee, and the governance committee.
Unless somebody has a question on one, I do 3 of them.
second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Right,
The report of the treasurer. Now that we know who she is.
Just gotta relocate to the other room. You okay, Tom?
The late one stands.
After I do my report, I'll move
Oh,
into the
yeah.
other room, I promise.
I said all day long.
Okay, so just really quickly, in terms of the bills. We have the standard monthly ones, although a few I wanted to point out, the Xerox amount due included a one-time payment for the actual printer. Our monthly amount is only about $9 a month. And Herb, we don't have any more chairs. This is all the chairs.
We're gonna read all this week.
So that's why the Xerox amount for this month is so high. And then the other one that I just want to note, so you'll see a big amount related to the labor monitoring through Local Brill.
Yes.
For this bunch, we have received those bills and we're billing them back to the projects. So we're gonna pay this group and then moving forward with all projects or just
Yes.
Sterling? Okay, with all projects, we are going to, moving forward, start having them pay directly to Local Brill and take us to the middle.
Yes.
So that's what's going on there. And these go back to October, so it's also a large amount because it's a number of months that are included.
Right.
So that's it. Oh, do you, she. I printed like 10 of them. Thank you. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you.
You want this one, Mike?
I have
I
one.
printed mine off.
All set, thank you.
Okay.
So unless there's any questions, we can just go ahead and do a motion to approve the bills.
Yeah, I'd like to see the detail in the Harrison Beach one.
Mhm. We can send that over.
Yeah, we can send that around if you'd like.
Any questions? All right, I move we accept. Any discussion? All in favor?
And I'm assuming that ends once the project's completed construction.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then in terms of the budget report, A few things I wanted to highlight in the financial report. So if you look at the budget versus actual, there's $135,000 on the gain on disposal of asset line that is related to the land sales that are pending. Most of that is still receivable. We've gotten deposits from both the Lanes and Sunburn, but the rest is receivable. However, you will be seeing that gain or that money coming in. The amount on the program service fee line is the low bills that we just talked about. So again, that'll be going away in future months as we get out of the middle of that situation. But that's what that amount is. And then on the travel and meetings line, there are expenses related to the upcoming New York State EDC conference that Michael will be attending. So it's registration and a deposit on his hotel. And then the Aurelius Industrial Park Development line is where we've been keeping, it's right now $1,613. That is where we're keeping those Barton and LaJudas fees related to the Bridget property assessment. We did just get the final bill from them today, so that will be on the meeting next month. Because that didn't come in time to get it on this month's agenda.
May I ask a question, please?
Mhm.
So I was with you with the New York EDC Conference Hotel, but where did you just skip to? Am I on the right page? Page 10?
I'm talking about the budget or the budget and versus actual report, which is,
39, 49.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
on the wrong page.
and I'm just pointing to specific things. I'm not going line by line and just
Okay.
calling out certain lines that have things on them. And I want to mention, so those are the only things on the budget versus actual I was going to point to. And then on the balance sheet, you'll just notice the pilot checking account has $9.11. That's because everything's been received and pushed out to the municipalities. So the $9.11 is we just rounded when we transferred some initial money in. So you won't see really any activity in that checking account until the Finger Lakes Rail pilot in July. So just know that that's where we're tracking where pilots are coming in, coming out. And right now, there's nothing in there.
Where did the $9 come?
We just originally transferred some money in there to cover those fees and penalties and we rounded, so. it's-
It was more interesting than 2 cents.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to clean up all of those,
No,
like,
it's-
2 cents, 3 cents.
Yeah.
So work in progress. Accounts receivable, as I mentioned, a lot of that amount on accounts receivable is for the land sale proceeds that we're expecting. And then some of the money from the land sale, or one thing that you'll also see change was the investment in land and buildings line. That was reduced by the cost basis of the 2 parcels or the parcels that we're in the process of selling. So that's why that line has changed, but anything that wasn't part of the cost basis is on that profit and loss statement on the gain on sale of assets line. So that's everything I wanted to point to, but happy to answer any questions you may have.
$62,150. Line 62,150, what, just curious, what is that? Outside contract services.
Outside contract services.
Yeah, one would think that would be you.
That's one that, yeah, part of that is me. I'm trying to think of what the 150 is. No,
No?
oh,
The line is 62,150.
yes. Let me just get them here real quick. Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's me is 3,000 of that, the other 150 is what I'm trying to figure out.
Mhm.
All right, don't slow down the meeting over again, I'm just curious. It's a new member question.
No, it's a good.
No, it's a good question.
Nice.
61 to 50. What, was it 61, 250? 52, 150.
Okay, what's weird about it too is it's a change of 4,100 if that triggers anything.
Oh, so that's where a lot of the low key bills are,
Below what?
the low key bills, so,
And we didn't adjust the budget. We didn't do budget adjustments for you and Michael, right? So the budgets of the old.
we have not, correct, we have not made any budget adjustments.
Right.
And so, for that line for March specifically, it was only, you are only seeing a couple of the low key bills in there. As opposed to all of them, which add up to a lot more than that. Because my bill is actually on a different one.
We wanna do from that?
So you're saying, Andy, over here where it's actual person on the budget figures have never been updated to represent even this year's budget.
Well, we made the contract with in January. So the budget was from the prior year's rate.
Okay, that's.
That's a good question.
No one.
It took me a while.
Right, figure it out.
Yeah, because the numbers in, but then I said, oh shit, some noise,
Right.
Yeah, because we always have to make the budget to submit in October. And then
Wow.
by the time you get to like contracts and stuff at the end of the year.
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I won't drive the budget crazy after that, but
No, no. So yeah, if there's not any question, or happy to answer questions, that you might have, just for reference. My bill is on the 62,100 line. Which is just the top line of the contract services. But yeah, unless there's additional questions, happy to take a motion on that.
any discussion? All in favor?
Tracy, at some point, we get a list of all our contractors and how we compensate them or what the period of compensation is, so we get an idea what.
We could pull something like that together, so what are you really looking for?
No big hurry, but it'd just be interesting to just see.
So you're looking at who the contractors are, what the terms of their, the like length of the term of the agreement
Right.
is, and the terms for their
Compensation,
payment.
whether it's monthly, hourly, yearly. And again, that's a new member question too, but
Yeah. No, but that's almost a good reason that, it's good you guys are on for your stuff we've just accepted.
Sure.
Good you have questions. All right, anything else, Tracy?
No.
Michael?
Okay. As always, my update is in your packet, but I do have some walk-on updates for you here. On the project side here, we, as always, do have Kevin Lowkey here to provide his update for his portion of the packet, but still in the loop on everything they've been doing. We do have 2 resolutions before you today for the projects in the towns of Scipio and Ledger, related to the project monitoring we're doing on that. Other in your packet on that end. Otherwise, the project up in Sterling has been going well, to my understanding. We're still moving through the sales of land to the Waynes and Sunburn sales. Some other large updates for the board to be aware of. We did get the for sale sign over in the Realist IDA Mall. I've been back in touch with our new owners over at the Finger Lakes Mall of the potential development there, as the market has kind of adjusted from where it was last year, as well as some development and the anchor tenants they've been evaluating on that end. So good progress. Hopefully we're able to get something moving on that end there. Couple of other things within this area. I did have the chance to sit down with the potential new acquisition group for the Wells College campus. This is the Hiawatha Institute. The Village of Aurora met last night. They reviewed a community survey that was done, had really great responses that was put out by the county planning department. What's going into that will feed the village's comprehensive plan and their development of the site there. So my discussions with the Hiawatha group is they're really looking to have a community impact there, mixed use development, which has been my understanding what the community wants. And when I've toured the property with our regional reps, they all agree that's canon what it should be. But all in all, good to hear. I've also connected with Empire State Development on that, and have to keep the board updated as we move ahead. I do have a couple of updates related to land, but I believe that's better set for executive session with the rest of the team here. On stakeholder engagement side, David Blotar invited me up to join their regional planning meeting. Their guest speaker at that meeting is going to be Joe Nemi, who's the government relations rep for Micron there. So I'll be interested to attend that. It's later this month. The meeting inside, Bob Griffin, who's the regional director for the North Central Small Business Development Center, has asked me to participate as an advisor representing Cayuga County. We have our first meeting for this year on the 14th. He has advisors throughout their regional office that sits on and advises them on programming and strategic efforts moving forward. So there's other IDA representatives and government representatives for them there. Our Micron steering committee met earlier this week. Typically meant to be meeting on a monthly basis, but we're now going to move to a quarterly cadence going forward. There's been some good updates on that, but nothing to really tell this group other than really moving the needle from a big perspective, other than Onondaga is moving ahead quite a bit there. All the tree clearing has been going on over in the town of Clay, and our friends over at Center State have shared with us they're getting many more inquiries for opportunities up there. Back here in Cayuga County, we do have the strategic countywide plan moving ahead. We have our next strategy meeting on the 21st of this month, and for the brownfield opportunity area, we have public meetings scheduled for the 22nd and 23rd. Happy to share that with anybody who would like to attend that there. As Tracy noted in the Bills update, we do have the annual New York State EDC conference that's held every May. That's probably the most important conference of the year, I could say. I'm looking at you, Tracy, to confirm what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are good ones.
Yes, that it's a really important networking opportunity for us there. On the state budget front, our friends over at Empire State have asked us to host a CFA workshop. We're planning on it in June, and I've reached out to CCC to host that. Once the budget is actually passed by the state, we'll be able to start setting up a firm time around that. But
CFA is,
a consolidated funding application, and that's the portal for all granting opportunities coming from the state. So once the budget is passed, that will open up and tell everybody how much monies are available for specific programs. And this workshop will be open to the public for anyone to attend, private and public. So
that's different than the strategy session on May 22nd and 23rd. That's a county deal.
So that's actually on the 22nd and 23rd, that's a brownfield opportunity assessment. So the county, through the county planning department, has been conducting a study of all brownfields throughout all of Cayuga County.
Yep.
They've done an incredible job, in my opinion, and now they're gonna begin hosting public meetings for everyone to start seeing what the work has been done and to offer input there. And it will be spread throughout the county. I do know one of the sessions will be held specifically over at both CCIDA or the central location.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do they have that, the brownfield site list available currently, or wait till the meeting?
I think wait till the meeting, so I'm just sitting on the advisory panel and there's a ton of material that they're going through right now. But I believe at the meetings themselves, they will have the materials available for everybody to provide some input on. Yeah. On the operations side here, we've got all the Paris reporting done and successfully submitted. Huge thanks to Tracy for doing a lot of the grunt work there, going through our lovely state reporting system. We did work on the bylaws and the code of ethics update. Spoke with Andy earlier today, looking to the governance committee to move bylaws to governance to review before having the full board here adopt for that. I'm not sure, Andy, if you want to do the same code of ethics or move them both over to governance.
Well, both of them, we'll
Okay.
do both together.
Okay.
We'll have to set up.
And the last high level thing here to share with the group is the countywide housing study that we are have financially obligated ourselves to. The RFP officially was released, I believe, yesterday, with intent to begin in August of this year and conclude in July of next year. So all good things on that end. That's everything I have here, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
That countywide housing study
Mhm.
basically pushed by the state for this affordable housing thing that they've been pushing there.
Yes and no. So the state obviously has a lot of interest in pursuing new housing growth and development of all types. And what we decided here, not just as a board, but some of our partners have said, we haven't had a housing study done in quite a long time.
Yeah.
And for our efforts and interest for economic growth and development,
Makes sense.
where is housing needed? And more importantly, where is it wanted and not wanted? So we can focus efforts and invest resources to that, whether it's water and sewer, power, et cetera. So it better helps inform not just our efforts, but those municipalities as well that may be applying for funds to better support growth into the future.
When is this study actually gonna start?
So the RFP was just finally sent out this week and it will begin in August of this year and conclude in July of next year. And I think the intent is to help roll that into the countywide strategic plan as well. So it's forming that overall plan for as a county, what we want to do and be for the next 10, 15, 20 years. But this is a nice subset here that we'll be able to lever for our efforts and that of our partners. Anything else I can help answer?
Thank you, Mike.
Yep.
All right. The waiver monitoring. Everybody's got the updated sheet.
Kevin, floor is yours for monitoring updates for the Sunny's projects and the Sterling project.
All right, good afternoon. So I will read you our March 2026 figures from each of the projects we're currently monitoring, starting with the NYUSLE Sterling Station Road 1 LLC project. And again, this reflects their March numbers that they've reported. Total monthly compliance for Cayuga residents was 0%. Their total local area compliance was 18%. Other New York State residents were 82%, and there were 0 non-New York State residents on site during the month of March for that project. The next project I have is the Sun East Dog Corner Solar LLC project. Total of 7% of Cayuga workers during the month of March, 71% local area compliance during the month of March, 17% were other New York State residents, and 5% were non-New York State residents. And then finally, Sunny Scipio Solar LLC had a monthly headcount of 5% Cayuga residents, 82% local area residents, 6% for other New York State residents, and 7% out of area.
Pretty dismal.
Yep.
Define, can someone define local area for me, please?
Sure. So the local area reflects Cayuga County, Oswego, Onondaga, Ontario, Cortland, Tompkins, Seneca, and Wayne counties.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Also, do you have a breakdown of?
Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we really have a board meeting.
Yep.
So we give you some time in the front end, but.
Understood.
Understood.
Yeah.
But afterwards, at the
Yeah.
end, if you want to ask
Yeah.
questions. I'm sorry. All right, Mike?
Any other questions for Kevin on these reports here? Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Thank you. Would you like to move into new business?
Yes.
Would you like to have
Yeah,
particular discussion?
yeah, should we do a executive section for the,
You would need a motion.
Herb moved, second,
What's the purpose of the executive session?
contract.
Contract negotiation.
Or it's, you're always welcome to.
Ladies, may I ask you to leave the office?
Are you going to resume to,
Yeah.
Okay. all right, thank you.
Herbie. And let's look at the resolutions. It's on page 56 of your small Bible there.
All right, I'm just gonna read the first portion and then get to roll call on one and then move to the
All right,
next.
try to do it some interest in your voice.
Okay. All right, if everyone is on page 56, this is authorizing resolution for Scipio Solar. Resolution of the Cayuga County IDA. One, authorizing certain local labor waiver payment in connection with a certain project being undertaken by Scipio Solar LLC as agent of the agency. Two, authorizing the execution and delivery of an amendment to the agent agreement. And three, authorizing the execution of related documents with respect to the projects. Okay. Move to roll call, Mr. Blair. Oh, that's.
Yeah.
Motion, thank you.
So move,
Second.
any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Blair,
No.
Mr. Marshall, Mr. Skank,
Yes.
Mr. Shea,
No.
Mr. Casper,
Yes.
Ms. Spino,
Yes. But that's not an answer.
Since he's going, yeah.
Pick one. Oh, I heard no, yes.
That's what I heard.
It was a yes.
Okay.
Borderline.
Okay, Mr. Rhineflesh.
Yes.
Okay. Resolution passes, moving to the next one, page 61. This is for dog corners. Resolution of the Cayuga County IDA, one, authorizing a certain local labor waiver payment in connection with a certain project being undertaken by the Dog Corners Solar New York LLC as agent of the agency. Two, authorizing the execution and delivery of an amendment to agent agreement. And three, authorizing the execution of related documents with respect to the project. May I have a motion, please?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion?
We had some no votes on the first.
Yeah.
If we choose not to do this, I don't see why we would handle them differently, but if we choose not to do it, the option then is they have to continue working and they ain't gonna hire people from there, right? No matter what, so they're gonna be in the field where they have to pay into this
Didn't have anything on.
Is that not right?
What are your
Right.
thoughts? With what Herb's saying. So if we don't approve this, right? Then the alternative is, then they have to continue. Then we're not settling with them, basically.
I'm just trying to think what is the
They'll
best outcome.
do the payout, they'll have to do the payout at the end of the project instead of now.
I think making the proper use of the money is better than leaving it functioning, non-functioning the way it is.
Right.
That's what I use as a criteria on how to vote for it. I think
Yeah, they can't comply now.
the big discussion is what to do with the money that's gonna create jobs, like, instead of, like Tom says, giving it to another government.
Well, I don't think we're gonna be able to tackle that one tonight, right?
Right, no, you're right.
In my mind, that's part of what goes into the decision on how to vote for this. I don't think voting for this now automatically gives that money to.
No, absolutely not.
That is correct,
That
right?
is correct.
So still we get paid now, or do we wait till the end of the project to get paid? That's all this says.
I really think
Really all
it is.
works.
I think the important discussion is what to do with the money to make it.
Right, and that'll be after.
Yeah.
But in the future, if it's not gonna be, and these projects, and Justin can comment, if it's not gonna be used for job training, then the board's gotta revise the policy.
That's
I remember that.
really what I
It
was
was a-
trying to
I
drive.
remember
We-
correctly,
we
it was the
have
last
a policy
paragraph.
That says what it's gonna be used
So you
for.
gotta look at that, or go for a committee. or whatever.
That's
Yeah,
why I
another
asked Mike,
discussion.
if we vote for this, does it automatically go into that or doesn't it?
No, it doesn't.
It's
It
the
doesn't
funds
all-
are, the funds will be deposited and segregated from your general fund in this program, and what you decide to do with it is up to you later. So it's,
But you don't wanna violate.
you have time to decide what the
Policy,
purposes
you
will
want it to
be.
know that, so whatever you wanna do.
Right.
The trick now is to get the money, and then you can figure out later what you want to do with it.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
Well, I agree with Tom as far as trying to increase the jobs, but I think this whole solar thing has been really challenging. I think we have tried to push that.
No, I mean,
And
You know,
at one point,
both of
I
us
think
have been here.
we turned one down, right? At one
Yeah.
point, they, I guess, I forget what the name of it was, but actually they just never came back.
Yeah.
Because we pushed back, so, but to Herb's point too, this is gonna be ongoing.
no, I think Tom's got a lot of great points, and we have tried, in fairness, to address them before. But I think some of that discussion really is a go forward discussion, right? What are we gonna do in the future?
Or maybe the percentage becomes higher.
Well, that was the other thing,
Maybe
maybe you
it's
make
part of
it
the
so it's such
yeah.
a little more painful. Right. Any other discussion on the resolution? Do we have a roll call, Michael?
Mr. Blair, Mr. Marshall,
Yeah.
Mr. Skink,
Yes.
Mr. Shea,
No.
Mr. Casper,
Yes.
Ms. Spino, Mr. Reinfleisch.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Right, where are we?
And I just want to say to Gina's point, maybe an increase in the percentage would also validate Tom's point to make it a little bit more painful if you decide to circumvent our requirement for local labor.
We do have to be a little careful, because I remember a few years ago, we had a guy putting up a garage. Some kind of small business. And he had trouble hitting local labor, because he had to get, electrician from Syracuse and.
It was the one that was out in, yeah,
Oh.
Senate for that. Yeah, yeah.
I forgot the name of the.
Well, we turned that down.
May I volunteer some information here?
Oh,
And we circumvented our rules so that they could do which we shouldn't have done.
I don't know,
It's over with, don't make any.
We discussed it the last meeting with individual, each
Yeah.
project individually, depending on the criteria.
all right. Anything else under the business, Michael?
No, so we're going to move the bylaws and code of ethics updates over to governance, and then depending on what the governance committee decides, that may be back on the agenda for May. The fiduciary acknowledgement form, that for new members or anyone else who didn't sign it, or for signing it again.
Really just the numbers,
Okay.
for everybody else. So I just think this one you would.
It's real, the changes on the bylaws, who made all these?
I did.
Okay.
I
I'm
just,
just curious.
so just so you know, I went through and I just looked at everything that is not quite aligned with how we're actually operating. And tried to make those updates and clarify some things.
No, it's, I don't know, but to me, like, why is the agenda even on the bylaws? It seems ridiculous, but. Yeah, we can hash through it a little more. Any other business we have?
Not here.
I want to go over where we are. All right, so that would be another.
Well, Mike wanted an effective position for land, right?
I do have a couple of quick updates on that.
For land, did you say?
Very brief. But nothing else.
So executive session for the possible purchase or sale of real estate, right?
Right.
Sale or lease of real estate, yeah.
Are we being excused?
Based out the numbers of turf.
We're just gonna make a motion to adjourn afterwards.
Yeah, we're not gonna do anything else.
Yeah.
after this.
Well, before we go to executive session, if the chairman wants to-
Yeah,
Or-
actually,
or-
I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, whatever.
Sure.
So, when we were talking about the labor, vision, local, non-local. Do you have a breakdown of whether that was professional, would it have been managers, or is it all like field workers? Do you have any statistics on
It's
that?
based on the workers who are on the site.
Right,
So
but are they, you would have a field manager?
Yes, so we'll keep our third party firm goes through that and denotes, who's here, who's local, what's their position, goes through all of that information. It's pretty thorough.
So, for example, the 5% non-New York State, would they have been, the installers, or would they have been managers from the
We don't
subcontract?
separate them.
This is a consolidated summary report. What Loki Brill actually compiles is quite in depth. So for the board, they make sure they consolidate this so you're not being overrun with pages and pages of information.
We appreciate that.
And that's still a lot of information they're providing, but they do very thorough site inspections on a weekly basis and then do spot inspections on a monthly basis as well.
Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, following up on that, are the penalties based on that, or is it for?
It is based on compliance with our local labor policy and what they commit to at the beginning of the project in terms of local labor. And then we do a true up phase as necessary on a quarterly basis. That's part of the reason we have Loki Grill, is to ensure they are complying with our policy.
Right. But are the penalties based on their
I'm
income?
sorry.
That's, you know what I mean?
If you want to get a hold of Michael later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
We don't wanna hold
you know
over.
what might be good is, on our website, there is an actual application as if you were a business applying. And that has some of the information that may address some of your, your questions about the labor.
Yeah, I'm just,
Yeah.
getting to the.
So I think if you could see an actual application that we get, a blank application.
Yeah.
That a company would fill out.
Right.
That might be a good starting point to get a flavor of some of the IDA's policies and that we do.
Yeah.
And if there's any further questions, then.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have any questions. I have a 30-second comment, if that's okay. Is that okay?
Is this a sales pitch? or-
No, I'm done selling. So my comment is that the reason I'm here is I'm very concerned about these industrial wind farms and solar farms. I'm very concerned about our ability to have a business sector in the future around agriculture, if the lands would be able to be used again. That we're seeing that wind farms are only lasting for 30 years. And because of that, they're never able to be reused to that same level. I bring you my perspective from holding a degree in agriculture from Cornell University. from working as a regional director in New York Farm Bureau for 35 years working in energy. And as a concerned citizen, I don't consider myself a total green, tree hugger, but in terms of staying and keeping New York State a viable property to live in the future and enjoy, I think we're in a really, really dire situation. And anything that we can do to discourage it, we should do. I think that Juarez needs to disappear.
You need to talk to our governor.
I am,
But
I am. I mean, so I'm,
you're talking to a farmer here, so I understand you 100%, but you need to talk to our governor and our downstate politicians that pass all these laws and rules and regulations that like solar farms, wind and landfills up here.
agree.
Because there's a lot of acres.
Agreed, but anywhere where we can push back needs to happen, and I think that if we can stop one, it'll be helpful. That's why I'm here. If there's anything that we can do to not provide any incentive for these industrial renewables, we should say, no, go away. Thank you.
And we've been told we are the gateway to what happens here.
All right, Joe, thank you for your
Saw that.
comments.
Mostly have to come to more meeting. That's Legislative Bob Shea, I represent.
Yeah, I left you a message yesterday.
Yeah, all of our meetings are public.
Yep.
So,
Glad you-
Yeah,
yeah.
Thank you. Now, I appreciate everything. I know you guys a lot of you are on a volunteer basis and it's important work that you do.
no.
So thank you.
We will.
No, keep coming.
I understand.
Keep coming.
Good. Yep. Thank you.
I think the chairman wanted to say something
Sure.
before.
I'll keep this 30 seconds.
No, you can have a minute. Go ahead.
No, it's
all-
thanks for having me today. I was happy and I'm glad to hear the conversation. I'm not pro pilots in these projects, they all for the local benefit, most of them, I should say, don't for the local benefit. The out labor is mostly outside, it's demonstrated today, or power we ship to New York City or another location. And it takes some air around the field, they'll be heavy, not from the wall. We have a power shortage in New York State, we need to generate power, we also need to find a way to keep things local. We also need to find a way to have a local benefit. So I appreciate Tom, I appreciate the board having the conversation. I didn't interject, but I just wanted to listen. But the conversation was good. I was glad to hear the critical thinking going back to everyone. So thank you, Mr. Miller, and your team. It's gonna be that.
No,
You're coming.
it was
Yeah,
really,
thank you
it
for
was really hurtful to have Tom criticizing us. But we've been hurt before. Well, we've had all the same discussions. It's painful to do these solar projects and not get any benefit out of it.
Well, I think Mr. Miller summed it up as well, right?
Yeah.
Tied, if we don't do something, the other jurisdictions have the opportunity, so it's really a challenge in how to proceed, but I was glad to hear the conversation, that you guys just are understanding the South Bay York, really, and you're trying to find ways to have a local impact.
And I really appreciate having Tom on the board. Like, what's done is done, but going forward, we need to really do some hard things. So it works out. Yeah, I think so.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah,
thank
you.
Thank you.
Hey, yeah, it's good to see you.
You need any more?